Coming up on Street Hospital.
Front, left, together, front, right.
Most of a bottle of vodka in 45 minutes is going to do anyone in.
Like, you can't take that out in the street.
I think it might have been from the adrenaline, but he just got out of the car.
Not entirely sure what we're walking into.
All over New Zealand, the weekend's the time to hit the town and hit the booze.
He said he's had about a litre of vodka.
That's what I'm talking about.
Hitting it hard and each other. Some party animals are getting boozed, getting hurt, and they're clogging the emergency departments.
They end up lining the corridors and trolleys, waiting to sober up.
Wellington Free Ambulance paramedics are fighting back. On Friday and Saturday nights, ambulances parked in Wellington's party zone become makeshift hospitals. At the street hospital base, paramedics treat the injured where they can, on the spot.
Thank you, Mr. Paramedic.
Typical Wellingtonians, very friendly.
Will they make a difference to the binge drinking culture in central Wellington? Can they stop the smashed and trash piling into the hospital's emergency department? And how will our paramedics cope, keeping a straight face when everyone else is off theirs?
You trying to tell with us?
It's been a long, hot summer for the street hospital team, and the heat is showing no signs of abating. In tonight's firing line, first-year student Harrison is paired with paramedic Sam.
Partnered up with Sam, who I've worked with before, and we do have this rather interesting dynamic because he's got a lot more clinical experience than I do. He's been in the service longer, and he's got that real charge-in attitude, that just get in there and get it done. Generally ends up that Sam says, we'll do this and we do that, but that's just Sam.
Harrison and I are like the dream team.
Me, Jay, are the dream team. What are you on about?
Harrison and I are like two peas in a pod.
Also on the team tonight, second-year student Jay, who's partnered with third-year student Holly.
He's in the year below me at course, and we do hang out quite a bit, so I'm looking forward to working with him. It's dream team.
Just as well there are two dream teams. The city's going to be busy. On top of the usual revellers, there's a large street festival on, and the punters have been dancing, carousing and drinking since midday. The carnival's due to end in a couple of hours, but it sounds like patients are lining up already.
9-2 copy, will be there in 2 minutes.
A frontline emergency ambulance is waiting with the team's very first and very early patient. The girl had been at her 21st when her friends, worried she was vomiting blood, called an ambulance. Luckily, the blood turned out to be red wine.
They picked her up just as we were pulling up. It kind of makes sense for them to drop her off with us.
So rather than tying up ED, the girl, Violet, will be treated here at Street Hospital. Third-year student Holly will stay with Violet till she perks up instead of puking up. Outside, Sam and Harrison set out on their first patrol of the evening. It's still warm and the street carnival was in full swing.
It sort of reminds me of the Mexican Dia de los Muertos, the Day of the Dead.
Just make it a day of unwell.
With under an hour to run, the street carnival is contained for now, presenting Sam and Harrison with the odd scraped knee, odder costumes and odder still dance moves.
No, I am not dancing.
Back at base, it's calm for now too. Holly's still monitoring her early patient Violet, who despite having a whole bag of fluids, is not improving.
Gosh, that door is loud. How are you supposed to sleep with that kind of ruckus going on?
Outside, Craig gets a call from comms. Up the road, there's a very ill girl lying on the footpath. Paramedic Brendan has just arrived, so Craig sends him off on the call with Jay.
18-year-old female that's conscious and breathing, is drunk a lot. It's 10 to 11, so I think we're still a bit early for this kind of carry on.
Say hello.
Brendan lets Jay take the lead.
I need you to open your eyes for me, mate. I'm Jay from the ambulance.
Probably consuming close to a bottle of vodka.
I need you to keep your eyes open for me, okay, mate? On 3, 1, 2, 3.
We're going to put you in the ambulance now and look after you, okay?
o'clock on a Saturday night. 2 intoxicated young females being treated already. That's an early start to the night. Normally it sort of gets underway about midnight.
How long ago did she drink this bottle?
Maybe she started at 9:15ish.
And when did she start?
About 10.
We have an IV in situ, which means we're giving her some fluid and some glucose. And the point of that is to help dilute some of that alcohol.
Sam and Harrison are patrolling down the traditional party streets. It's yet to kick off, so there's still room to boogie.
Front, left, together, front, right, together.
Really haven't done walks, have you?
No, I haven't.
They make it back just as Brendan and Jay's patient, the girl who's drunk nearly a bottle of vodka, takes a turn for the worse.
Yeah.
Is she going through little waves of almost hypoxia and getting really aggressive about it?
Well, it's not so much hypoxia, it's more hyperventilation.
Yeah. The amount she drunk, you know, most of a bottle of vodka in 45 minutes is going to do anyone in. And we really saw that what seemed to be a depression of the nervous system and that she stopped breathing.
Do you want somebody on airway for a little while?
Yeah, I think that could be a good idea.
Brendan asked Sam to sit in with student Jay.
Currently got a bit of oxygen flowing up your nose, right? It's just going to help supplement what's already going in with the air around you.
The patient is having trouble maintaining her breathing.
It's every time she has a cough, she then stops saying.
I think she's pretty much hitting hypoxic, and then it's going through almost nausea.
Next door, Holly's intoxicated patient Violet is at least breathing, but is still sick.
Morning, sunshine. Do you think you can stand up? No.
Both ambulances are full and it's not yet midnight. Another call comes through. A third young woman is in trouble. No rest for paramedic Brendan. He grabs first-year student Harrison and they head out to find her.
Okay.
3 stages.
Brendan wastes no time in calling for an urgent frontline ambulance.
Status 3, under lights.
Roger, Thorndon 1. Under lights, please.
You've had a bit to drink. Okay. Do you take any medicines for your epilepsy? What do you take? Oh, okay. Have you been taking that today?
Not so much.
My concern is she's going to have another seizure.
Okay, we're all good.
Do you just want to grab it? She's having what we call a pseudo-seizure. So as a result of that, with the brain being deprived of oxygen, she will lash out. She's not completely aware of her own actions. Hey! Sorry. They have drawn up some medication to sedate her. If required, they will use that medication to stop her from being combative.
Meanwhile, the vodka patient's breathing is worsening, causing the medics a good deal of concern.
It was going okay, and then the periods of apnea kept increasing from about 20 seconds to 30 seconds to 40 seconds, to a point where she ended up having periods of not breathing for up to 1:20. If it continues, we'll organise for transport because this can't continue.
If breathing's interrupted for too long, brain damage can occur.
I requested to get a frontline ambulance to come down.
Could we please have a road speed vehicle?
As she started to reoxygenate, she'd have big gasping episodes and what seemed to be seizures of some kind. It's probably one of the sickest drunk people I've seen.
A severe alcohol overdose can cause seizures. And now she's stopped breathing again.
You upgrade to red, that crew coming from Johnsonville.
The seizures and breathing difficulties continue. The girl's symptoms are serious.
Oh, you need to calm down, mate.
Yeah.
Up the road as Brendan and Harrison's epileptic patient is being taken to hospital, they get a call from base.
We've been called back to Street Hospital Base under lights. The reason we're being asked back is there is a patient seizing at base and they need Brendan's qualification level.
She would have apnea periods of 40 seconds to a minute 20.
Have you got frontline coming?
Yeah, coming under lights from the hospital. Alcohol is a poison. People look at it and all they think about is the buzz they get. They don't realise that what they're doing is poisoning the system. The more trash you get, the more it's going to affect your liver and the rest of your body, and you're actually going to do yourself some serious harm.
Frontline emergency paramedics have arrived to take the girl immediately to hospital. In ED, emergency doctors may have to insert a tube into her windpipe to help her breathe, as well as monitor her heart rate and try to stop the seizures. The street carnival's finished, but some are keeping the spirit alive, if not in their pants. After careful monitoring and several bags of fluids, Holly's early patient Violet is finally feeling better and can go home.
Moving okay?
I think I can go home.
Yeah. So yeah, I've been tied up all night looking after her, and that's not a problem. I mean, you know, I'm still helping someone.
No chance for a break though, as minutes later a call comes through about a woman with a deep leg wound. Holly and Sam head out.
Well, I got one piece of pizza, so that's something. And you can make it up the stairs? Just jump up on the stretcher there.
How deep in do you think it went?
It's pretty deep.
Ooh.
So it's quite deep. I mean, it's not, I don't know how deep that is, but it probably need a few stitches.
Yeah.
Stitch. You do need to go to hospital and get it stitched.
We can't stitch.
Oh, you can't stitch?
No.
You need to stop playing with knives.
I chose to buy a bunch of plastic weapons, and Jay goes, I'm going to get that hunting knife. I'm like, you can't take that out in the street. You'll get arrested for starters.
I pretty much just fell onto it. It sunk in and pretty much fainted on the spot. Yeah, I think we're going to get an Uber probably because they're amazing. Going down to the hospital, 2 or 3 stitches. I'd say maybe 2 or 3. I'd say about 3, and then hopefully some painkillers and maybe McDonald's on the way out.
The lesson: don't buy real knives for your costume.
Back at base for the first time since the medics arrived, things are quiet. Not for long.
Roger, responding.
Up the road, there's been a car crash, and with Frontline busy, Comms drops the job on Street Hospital.
Right. Multiple patients.
Student Harrison and Jay jump in with Brendan and Craig.
Just louder than I thought.
Multiple casualties, and so we've decided to take 2 vehicles and 4 crew members. We're not entirely sure what we're walking into.
Right. 9-2 located.
I'm the one who called the ambulance. I'm going to go over here who seems to be going to shot.
2 cars have collided. One driver is apparently unscathed, but the other is in a bad way.
Keep your head nice and still, sir. Nice and still. Whereabouts is the pain? Just your whole chest area?
I called for the police and an ambulance. I was starting to redirect traffic while I was on the phone while, you know, the girls were attending to the guy.
A group of young women on their way back home from the street carnival witnessed the crash and have been looking after the man. As luck would have it, some are trainee nurses.
We just wanted to keep as mine as still as we could until the ambulance came, just in case he had any spinal or like he said his chest was sore, so maybe like rib injuries.
Just going to have a little feel down the back of your neck. You just let me know if anything hurts. Any pain down here? Were you the driver of the red or the white car? Who was the driver of the white car? You are? Are you okay? Okay. Okay.
It's like looking at the state of that car now, I think it might have been from the adrenaline, but he just got out of the car and came over and was like, you could tell his words, it looked like he was going to faint. And then he just went and sat down and Bella held his head.
So you stay where you are. What's your name?
I'm nervous.
So, you know, quite a lot of velocity and force in that impact, and we want to be very careful of his head, neck and spine.
The neck brace will help mitigate the risk of any further spinal cord injury.
Where are you off to?
Pick up my son.
I'm going to give you some of that morphine for the pain now, okay? You may feel a little bit of a warm flush come over you, slight thirst in your throat. I'm just preparing on Dancitron, we basically don't want him to be vomiting or feeling nauseated when he's on his back because he's at risk of aspirating.
This car crash is a good introduction into the world of emergency incidents that awaits Jay and Harrison.
Turning up with students presents its own challenges. Fold it like that. You won't get it stuck to the head. We've all worked together as a team, and I believe it's a really good outcome for that patient.
The other driver is very shaken up, but well enough to leave the scene on her own. Harrison doesn't usually drive the ambulance, but as there's no one else, he gets to take the wheel.
Leave your lights on until you're out of this zone.
It's a slow but steady drive to the emergency department.
Worst case scenario, he'll end up either in the orthopedics or the ICU, depending on the nature of the injuries.
The warm night has meant it's been extremely busy for the medics. And about now, the carnival mood is starting to turn ugly.
Yeah, so it's 4:15 now. People have been out drinking all night. It starts to lead to brawls because they've got short tempers and they're tired, or it just leads to them passing out in doorways because they're shattered and they end up unable to control themselves when they're completely comatose from alcohol. As you can see, male behind me was getting arrested. His partner didn't want a bar of it. Alcohol fueled, she wanted to throw a hissy fit, and now she's been locked up as well for obstruction. It's just what happens when it gets to this time of the morning.
Behind the street hospital base, there's another batch of violence brewing. Craig calls the police. But then bizarrely, the thuggery turns to hugging. Even so, one of the men is bleeding.
There was a guy with blood all across his knuckles who was asking for bandages. So I, of course, decided, well, we'll treat him a wee bit away from everyone else. Let me have a look. Okay?
Some plus on that one.
Oh, you got a fair bit of blood there.
No, it's all good, bro.
You sure?
I've been taught this shit, bro.
You should probably be a bit more careful, shouldn't you? Last thing you want is to hurt yourself.
No, he's looking at him and laying him over with a haymaker.
Uh-huh.
The police arrive.
So they're not fighting anymore?
They've stopped at the moment, but I'm a bit concerned that it may kick off again.
Hey, bro, thank you very much.
Not a problem. You want any on that other hand? Yeah, may as well.
Some of these guys here and this guy here.
Suddenly he got very skittish, and next thing I knew, he was walking off even before I'd finished treating them.
Harrison's patient isn't keen to hang around for a chat, so the police take the chat to him and add a warning. It's late and the street hospital team should be leaving by now, but before they can, a new job comes in, the 14th of the night.
Come on, darling.
A young woman has collapsed outside a supermarket. Paramedics Sam and third-year Holly are first responders.
This is not a comfortable place to be lying, and it's probably cold. So do you want to just jump in the back of our ambulance? What are you concerned about with her?
She wasn't responding to us.
Any recreational drugs or anything?
Not that I know of.
How much do you think your head's drunk?
12. Vodka and tequila.
Do you usually drink this much alcohol?
Yeah, we usually have like 6 to 10 when we go out.
I understand why your friends were concerned, but by the time that we got to her, she seemed quite all right. She was able to walk on her own, talk to us without slurring any words.
But then the young woman unexpectedly opens up, and what she says is far more troubling.
My dad's gonna cut my face again, though. It's okay, though. Huh? He's doing it. He doesn't really know what he's doing anyway.
Does that happen often?
Yeah.
Have you looked for help? Violence on anyone at any stage is not okay.
He means well, though. Who means what?
Sam and Holly think this chat should continue in private.
I'll be back.
How often does that sort of stuff happen?
Oh, it's fine.
Because
It's my fault, though.
No, it's not.
It is.
You'll find that so many people that get assaulted and been in a domestic environment will blame
Probably
themselves.
good for me though.
Why do you think that? Why do you think it's good?
Probably because I've been like haven't done the right thing. And it just makes sense.
What it does is it starts digging like the inside out, and you start to feel really bad about yourself.
Yeah.
I mean, this is entirely your call, but this is what I'd really like to recommend to you, is find somebody that can actually work through with you, because like, it may be a smack to the face now, but you don't know what the next step could be. It can lead to severe facial fractures, body fractures, and you do realise the worst case scenario could be death.
As a sober friend turns up to collect the girl, Sam can only hope that his advice will be heeded. Police get a call about domestic violence once every 5 minutes in New Zealand. On average, 13 women, 10 men and 10 children are killed by a member of their family every year. It's 4:30 and the street hospital can finally pack up.
Hey, good job tonight, guys. Good work, everyone.
It's been a full-on night for the street hospital dream teams. Mexican zombies, Vikings and car crashes. The only certainty is they never know what's going to happen next.
Supporting local content so you can see more of New Zealand on air.